is here tonight for covers our meetings from start to finish. Okay, speaking of start, I'm going to call to order tonight's meeting. It is called to order. It's the Cadillac City Council meeting of October 15th. We do greatly apologize for the 15-minute late start. We had a closed session that we thought we could take care of in an hour, and it took just a little bit more than that, and it went an hour and 10 minutes. So thank you at home, everyone waiting, and for those of you that have come tonight that are watching our meeting. But I have called the meeting to order, and at this point I'd like everyone to rise, if you would, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. Chris, could we have a roll call for our regular meeting?
Councilmember Melama.
Here.
Shippers. Here. Spolman. Here. Stevens.
Here.
Mayor Barnett.
Here. Thank you very much, Chris. We do have an agenda we have laid out here, and I'd like a motion to approve that as presented, unless there are any amendments. Mr. Petcher, are there any amendments tonight?
No, sir, none this evening.
Okay.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
And there's support as well. Any discussion about our agenda before voting? Hearing none, Chris, could we please have a roll call for the agenda approval?
Councilmember Shippers.
Yes.
Spolman.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Melama.
Yes.
Mayor Barnett.
Yes. Motion carried. Next up are public comments. Public comments are twice in the meeting, once right now and once in the end. We like to have them and would request that the comment time be limited to 3 minutes. And this is a good opportunity for anyone to get up at this time and tell us what they'd like us to know about city issues or city council or anything at all. Brendan Matern's here tonight. Hello, Brendan.
Thank you, Mayor Barnett. If it pleases the council, I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Brendan Maturin. I am running for the Michigan House of Representatives for state representative for the 102nd District against Mr. Potvin. I am an attorney from the Big Rapids area. I have a family there. My wife is a family doctor. I have 2 children in the Morley Stanwood schools. This is my first time running for public office, but I'm running because I feel strongly that we need a representative for this district who understands that his constituents are his boss and not the governor or any other politician. I also feel strongly that we need a representative who will fight for quality education for schools to educate our children, who will fight for quality jobs for working families in our district, and who will fight for meaningful reform of our state government so that our state government works for the people and not for political parties, special interests, or politicians. I also want to add, in light of the fact that personal property tax reform is on the legislative agenda in Lansing, that if I am a member of the House of Representatives, when that issue comes up for a vote, that I will not vote for any personal property tax reform that does not guarantee continued funding, continued revenue sharing at adequate levels for local governments such as the city of Cadillac. We've already lost too many police and firefighters, too much funding for roads and schools and other civic projects and essential services over the last couple of years. We also cut business taxes by 83% in 2011, and I feel that rather than further business tax cuts, we should cut individual income taxes, our income taxes, so that we have more money to support our families, to make ends meet, and to support our local businesses. I will conclude my comments there. I want to thank the council for your time, and I will look forward to working with you and supporting and representing the people of Cadillac and Wexford County in the near future. Thank you very much.
All right, Brendan, thank you for coming tonight, introducing yourself, and good luck with your race. Okay, those were good public comments. Anyone else wishing to make good or bad public comments, feel free to come forward and let us know what you're thinking, or if you'd like to give us any update or any thoughts, always open for that. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing, Hey, we've got movement. You want to come up? Here we go. I think the leadership class is in the house. Maybe you can introduce your group as well. But how are you doing tonight? If you could give us your name and address, that would be wonderful.
I won't actually give you my address, Mayor, but my name is Jason Black, and I'm here on behalf of the 2012-2013 leadership class that's sitting here. And, we're just excited to be here to be able to learn what our local government is like for those that haven't been to a meeting like this.
Great. Jason, thanks for coming here with Avon.
Avon
Okay.
Protection, yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight, and all of you from leadership, thanks for coming. Welcome to the city council meeting tonight. And no, there's not going to be a quiz later. All right. We are going to, on that note, and thanks again for coming forward. That's it for public comment. Seeing no one else come forward, I'd like to, at this point, go to the consent agenda. Tonight, we just have a couple things on there. The city council minutes from October 1st, as well as a request from the DCA, Downtown Cadillac Association, to hang a banner over Mitchell Street, November 12th through the 26th, 2012, for the annual Storybook Christmas event. Those are the two items on our consent agenda. Could we have a motion for those, or discussion if you'd like to before?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. Is there support as well?
Support.
Okay. That would go to Councilmember Shippers. And we have a motion and support. Any discussion on those two items? Hearing none. Chris, could we please have a roll call?
Councilmember Spolman.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Malama.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Mayor Barnett.
Yes. Motion carried. No proclamations for tonight, no public hearings, no communications, no appointments, and we had a request to move them up, which I can see we really didn't have to move them up tonight, but we've got a couple of gentlemen in the house tonight to talk about the Lions Club, and I know Mr. Anderson, Tim Anderson, couldn't be here tonight. He's out of town, but we have Mr. Ingalls and Mr. Williams present, and I don't know if they're both going to talk, or, yep, Mr. Williams is pointing to... Okay. They're both...
The Cadillac Lions comes from Mr. Williams declines. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting us and for the City Council's proclamation about the Cadillac Lions Club at the last meeting. Our Cadillac Lions Club began in 1943. We've been around almost 70 years next year. We appreciate your support. We like to think we do good things for the community. We've particularly supported SITE, which is Helen, because of the International Convention with Helen Keller in 1925, buying glasses for people in the community and the surrounding community who basically can't afford them. We also support the diabetic clinic and the free clinic here in town because diabetes and SITE are intrinsically linked. And those are the kind of things we've also done in addition to Camp Torrena and other community projects. We appreciate your having us here, and we appreciate working for us, the City of Cadillac and the people of Community Cadillac. You can help us out. This building is less than 200 yards away from our Sink the Shack project in the wintertime. You've all seen it, so when the Lions members bug you at the White Cane thing in the springtime, or you watch the Shack on TV, please, it can help us. We appreciate the community support and appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Gary, thanks for coming. Does anyone have any questions for Harry or the Lions Club or Gary Williams for that matter? I think Gary said that he delegated the speaking.
He delegated.
He delegated it. Okay. Well, he did a nice job delegating. Thanks, Harry, for coming and sharing that information, and we appreciate what the Cadillac Lions Club has done for our community for many, many years. On behalf of the city, I think I'm okay to say that.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks again. That was our community spotlight, which we're trying to have on a regular basis and have folks, maybe leadership can be one of our spotlights in the future. If someone can be delegated to speak. But I appreciate you folks coming tonight, and thanks a lot again. Next up is the city manager's report. That would be you, Mr. Pecha.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. There are two items on the report this evening. The first one being a summary, actually, Mr. Mayor, given by yourself on my annual evaluation process, and I just wanted to to state for the record in our open session that, again, it has been a pleasure being here. I'm certainly looking forward to many more years to come, and I'm certainly more than willing to continue to meet with anyone whenever and however necessary, and just hope that everybody knows that I'm always available and always here. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Petra. We have done an evaluation. I want to thank Linda Kent, our personnel, human resource, I guess it's called. Where are you? There she is. She's behind the crowd tonight. But Linda's done a nice job, and she worked with Art Stevens, council member, and Mayor Pro Tem Stevens this year, as we've had two of the other council members in the two preceding years doing the gathering of information and putting it together in a report. Just to give you a little summary, and I'll read some of this, but we did put together an evaluation summary for the city manager, Marcus Pecha, and that was basically completed this October. And it's in accordance with his employment agreement between the City of Cadillac and Mr. Pecha. And this is, as mentioned, is his third annual performance evaluation. Is that right, or is it your second one?
Third.
Third. All right, thank you. I should probably just read this. The methodology is a standardized performance appraisal tool, was utilized. It's the same tool that we used in previous evaluations, and basically it was distributed to all of us. And to our attorney, Mr. Homier, who's here tonight, all the way to my left and the viewer's right from home. The evaluation form and written comments were returned to, again, our HR coordinator, Linda Kent, for tabulation. The forms were tabulated, averaged, written comments were compiled, and it's been reviewed, developed, and written by Councilmember Art Stevens and Linda Kent. So thank you for that. And we've all had a report provided to us, and we met in closed session tonight. And again, that's our reason for being a little bit late, is it ran a little bit extra long. And we have provided the city manager with a written report of the evaluation results and an opportunity for all of us to have feedback, and Marcus was given that opportunity, and we, as is standard upon his request, did that in closed session. And I am the contact actually for the city. I think it's by charter, but I'm going to give the report at this point, and it is a positive report from Mr. Pecha. And the responses were collected from the 5 members as well as Mr. Pecha. He did his own evaluation as well. And based on the evaluations by City Council, City Manager Marcus Pecha received an overall rating of 3.88 on a scale of 1 to 5. That places Marcus, in his score rather, on the upper range of meets expectations and is close to exceeding expectations, actually very close. And Marcus evaluated his performance as well as just slightly above that, 3.97 in the same ballpark, just marginally greater. And he was being more generous this year than he has in past years. As I recall his numbers, he would always vote himself or give himself a lower grade than maybe the council did, but he splurged this year. He's up at 397. Ours averaged out to 388. I think that's a nice grade. Pardon me?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. So we're on pretty much on the same page, and that is a good score, especially under the circumstances that he works under with the public, with council, and all those different things we've had over the last year in particular. In summary, Mr. Pecha continues to perform an above-average job and meets and/or exceeds expectations as the Cadillac City Manager. He also exhibits many characteristics foundational to good leadership and continues to grow professionally, and that's what we like to see. Consequently, the Cadillac City Council anticipates the continuation of a successful working relationship with Mr. Pecha. So it's good news. It is another good report, and I want to congratulate Marcus for his work over the 3 years, and especially the last year. And you're still hanging in there with us. We appreciate that. And you do have a contract, and we just did have that handed out. Maybe Mike can talk a little bit about his contract. I've asked that it be sent around to all of us, which we now have it, and if anyone wants to look at it, I don't think we're going to take a and it's available for the public if they'd like to see it. It's an amended contract from his very first one. And if anyone wishes to vote on it again, we can. At this point, Mr. Homier, what is maybe the legal side of our contractual relationship with Mr. Pecha, either through the charter or through the contract itself?
Sure. The original contract was entered into in 2009, September 12, 2009. The reiteration you have in front of you is dated the 3rd day of October, which was an amendment to the previous agreements entered into by the city because various provisions had changed from contract to contract. This contract, the one that you have in front of you, is my understanding that there are no changes proposed to this contract. So, for example, if you look at paragraph 2 describing the term, the employee commenced employment with the city on November 1, 2009, which shall be the anniversary date. The employee serves for an indefinite term at the pleasure of the city. That paragraph, that provision, comes from the city's charter, section 7.2 of the city's charter, which says that the city council shall appoint a city manager for an indefinite term and shall fix his compensation. And so that compensation is fixed by this agreement, and if the council desires to change it, then it can do so by amending the agreement to include those changes. But I am not aware of any proposed changes as of yet to that agreement. So if the council desires to change it, then we would draft an appropriate amendment and fix that compensation through the amendment to this agreement.
Okay. Anyone, well, Mr. Pecha, how about a word from you, if you don't mind, at this point?
Well, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, I've perhaps mentioned to a few folks off and on since I've started here, but I am not asking for any adjustments or alterations or changes with respect to my compensation or any other benefits at this time. I would love to be in a position where I could make such request. However, given at this time, I'm unable essentially to offer such an increase to our non-union group. I myself am not looking at making any request at all either. Should there be a time in the future, which perhaps there will, certainly by action that the council may take at that point in time could include me by name or me by saying contractual employee, whereas I am the only full-time contractual employee that the city has. So that could always be handled down the road that way. But at this time, everything is great, and I'm ready to start a new year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, what would you like to say, if anything, at this point related to the city manager evaluation report and/or any contract action, if any, that could be proposed?
Well, as we discussed, and we pretty much all agreed on, that we've been very pleased with the work of our city manager. We feel like we did a good job of hiring him, and in terms of his half of the contract, I think he's done an excellent job of living up to our expectations of him, and that within the contract as well. He does a fine job of meeting the needs of all of the members of city council as well as the staff, and we talked quite a bit about the relationships he has in the community also and how important that is. I would tend to agree with him in terms of any changes in the contract at this time. I don't believe that I am interested in recommending it without having other non-union staff also getting an increase, and I don't think we're prepared to do that at this time.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Spolman. Anyone else wishing to chat on the evaluation report? Robert, again, thank you for your extra duties there. Appreciate that. And Linda?
Linda deserves all the credit on that one. It was one of the easiest committees I've ever been on. Thanks to Linda. I just wanted to echo Marcus. not only your involvement in the community, but, and I'm sure your wife is watching tonight as well.
Possibly. Hello, if you are.
But your whole family of, you did this right away, getting entrenched in the community, which has been a positive by getting involved, not only on the sporting events of the school, but like being involved in the community. So that's been a nice pleasure to have that. You've become attached to Cadillac and want to make it a long-term commitment, and so hats off to you there, and also you starting. It's like going to your first roller coaster ride, and instead of starting on a kid ones, you got right into the job and got on the demon drop. And you had a lot of stuff going on when you took over, so just want to give you credit on that as well.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, I would like to agree with my how impressed I am with the job that Mr. Pecha does for the city and with us, and I would also like to say that it was a pleasure working with council to put this together and to, listen to each other and find out everybody's opinions on this and get information to make me understand more about how we're all thinking. I think this is a good process, and I'm pleased with the results.
Okay, anyone else wishing to chat about Mr. Pecha or his evaluation report? I would just point out he has been superb. He's got a lot of good grades here, but his best thing is dealing with problems. But the public doesn't know this, but I get 2 to 5, maybe more, calls a week of complaints, not as many compliments as we would like to have those calls come in with, but I send them directly to Marcus, and it's his job on a day-to-day basis to deal with those. And there's a very few number. On one hand, I can count them in the last year, and maybe with 2 fingers, that at the end the person in the public wasn't happy, and we'd have to take it a little bit further, but it would be resolved. And really, his community contacts are his spotlight, and that's who we serve as the public. So I'm pleased to see that continues. There were some negatives, of course, but I think they're small, they're workable, and understandable. Well, this is not an easy job to have to work with the public on all days, every day, including weekends. He's very available to us, and he has been a pleasure to work with, and I want him to know that's how I feel. And if we were to vote up his contract, I would be voting it up, but it's going to evergreen into the next year. Usually I would ask him, we'll do that next year, but I usually ask him to put it in that was my fault, put it in the agenda. I know that seems weird, but that gives the public a easy way to find it before the meeting so they can see your contract. But we can do that next year. It was the same one as last year, so it's still in the agenda packet from a year ago if someone did want to look at it. And we respect your decision to not request a raise, and have you had one since you come, really?
Nope.
Okay, and have the other employees that are also non-union have one?
They had one the fiscal year that I had started.
Okay.
But I started just after they had gotten it.
Okay. Those are my comments, and good luck to another year here and many more. And wish you success, Councilmember Malama. I didn't mean to trounce on your
That's okay.
your area.
That's all right. I was generally at home. I'm the last one to talk to. I just wanted to echo what Councilperson Shepherd said. I've done evaluations for many, many years. I hate to say how many years I've done them. And, in education, we give a grade, but what does it really mean? And of course, we were asked to put down points. And what do points really mean? I mean, they really don't tell a person anything. And an evaluation should be constructive. It should be pointing out positives and areas to work on, because we all strive to be better at what we do. And I was very, very pleased with that opportunity to do that, and also have an opportunity to discuss that with other council people, personnel, or members, excuse me. So I'm very pleased, and I'm very pleased to have Mr. Pecha back for another year. and with us, and he does have a difficult job. It is a very, very fine line that he walks between the public and the council and the staff and of course the attorney. That's a real difficult situation. And but anyway, it's a real fine line and it's a difficult job. And I want to commend you on your fast learning curve. Thank you.
Okay, anybody, anything else at all? Just Mr. Pecha?
Just again, just to say thank you, and you know, it really is a privilege to be here in this community. You know, we moved from the Chicagoland area literally about, well, our anniversary, I think our move date was on the 20th of October, which was actually my wife's wedding anniversary. My wife and I, our wedding anniversary as well. So I'll never forget that date for those reasons. The community has opened up their arms and have accepted us and really have made us feel welcome. Our kids are really enjoying the schools and everything that this town has to offer. And so, you know, we've essentially have adopted it, Cadillac as our hometown, and I think Councilmember Shippers, you may have corrected me about how to pronounce Cadillacan?
I think
Cadillac or
Cadillac.
Councilmember Smallman. But, you know, it's nice to be in a friendly community, and this is the type of place where you could see why city managers in the past have made Cadillac their home and have spent their careers here, and I certainly hope to be one of those. So, thank you again.
All right. Mr. Homer, did you want to weigh in on anything else on this issue?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay, you lost your chance. I think we don't need to take any action tonight.
That is correct.
Okay. Marcus, it's going to be assumed that your contract continues to next year, and congratulations.
It actually continues indefinitely until such time as the council may want to remove him, or he quits, or dies.
My kids are watching.
Creates a vacancy. So.
How about that one? Sounds better.
Or we want to pay him more money.
Gets hit by the CWTA, right, or a change in
Or we
compensation.
want to pay him more money.
All right. Thank you for that correction. That is true.
Buy new bikes for his kids.
Yes. Once a week. Okay. Anything else on that issue? Hearing nothing else, we're going to proceed, Marcus, to your next and final city manager.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. At a prior council meeting, and forgive me at this moment, the date escapes me, we had a discussion about recommendations from the Public Safety Review Team on the structure and chiefs, two chiefs, director, and whatnot. The council essentially remanded it back to that group to have a discussion. The group did meet and had a meeting, and as a result of that meeting, their suggestion is to have a joint meeting with the City Council in a work section, and the date that they had come up with was November 5th, and hoping that we could set a work session for 5:15 on Monday, the 5th. Accordingly, that is our next regular council meeting date.
Okay, I would entertain a motion in that degree. Who would like to do that?
I'll make a motion to schedule a work session on November 5th with the Public Safety Committee at 5:15.
Hey, Marcus, where would that be? I know you'll put a notice out at some point.
Yeah, we'll
obviously.
be publicly noticing it, and it'll be here at City Hall.
It'll be somewhere in this building?
Yes.
Okay. All right, there's a motion. Is there support as well? There might have been. Anybody support Sherry's motion?
Support.
Thank you. All right. It's like pulling teeth sometimes.
Yeah, we're either talking over each other or waiting for somebody to say it.
Okay, anything else before I ask Chris to give us a roll call? Hearing none, nothing. Chris, please a roll call on this.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Melama?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Spelman?
Yes.
Mayor Barnett?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Pecha. Next up are Ordinances and resolutions. Who's that going to go to, Marcus?
I could take it, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council.
Okay.
The first item is an ordinance, and by the way, the first and second items are nearly identical. It's an ordinance to introduction, the selling of property owned by the City of Cadillac located at 248 Granite Street, and to set a public hearing for November 5th, 2012.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And who would like to make a motion consistent with that?
I make a motion that we set a public hearing for November 5th, 2012, and also approve the resolution that's presented before us to introduce an ordinance to sell the property at 248 Granite Street.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? Does, Marcus, do you want to talk about this or wait?
The more appropriate time, Mr. Mayor, members of council, to get into more detail will be on the 5th, but I can just tell you in general terms, it's vacant property adjacent to a home. Homeowner is looking at, I believe, building a garage or expanding of their garage, and so we solicited bids accordingly.
Okay.
Was it the only bid that was received?
It was, actually.
Okay. So we have a
This is the
motion.
one that we've already looked at? Okay.
Yeah, we have a motion and support. Anything else? Hearing nothing else, Chris, could we please have a roll call again?
Councilmember Malama?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Spelman?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Mayor Burnett?
Yes, motion carried. Next up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This next item, again, it would be for the introduction of an ordinance and for the setting of a public hearing for November 5th for property located at 440 Rogers Street. And this property, again, was previously discussed by council in concept as it's a vacant piece of property in which Habitat for Humanity is interested in purchasing. We again put it out to the public for bids, and as with the one before, only one bid was received, and it was by Habitat.
Okay. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion at this time.
I also make a motion to introduce the ordinance and approve the resolution as presented that sets a public hearing for November 5th for the sale of the property at 440 Rogers Street.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Anything else? Any discussion?
Just a question, Marcus, I know we've talked about this before, but have we been able to compile a list of the properties that are owned by the city in the city limits, that, like these kind of lots that are actually, if we ever looked at the time of seeing if they were interested in property owners buying them?
I'd have to double check. I'm fairly certain we have a list of our vacant surplus property, but I would need to, I don't know what format it's in, so
Thank you.
I have to double check.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? We need a roll call vote on that.
Councilmember Shippers?
Yes.
Spelman?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Malama?
Yes.
Mayor Burnett?
Yes. Motion carried. There's excitement in her voice tonight.
I have to do something to stay awake. I've been baby rocking for a week and a half.
All right. We can relate to that. Please proceed, Mr. Pecha. It looks like we have one more.
Yes, thank you, I'm just taking a quick note here. The last item, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, is the introduction of an ordinance to extend the marijuana, actually, I believe it's a new medical marijuana moratorium, and to set the public hearing for November 5th, 2012. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a new, or is it an extension? I thought it was a new moratorium for a 12-month.
It's technically not an extension, it's a new moratorium, but it serves the same purpose. So that, because of recent developments in the law, in our opinion, is still unsettled, and so we had briefed the Planning Commission, last month? Last month regarding this issue, and essentially what the ordinance does is it prohibits the city from issuing any permits or approvals for medical marijuana within the city limits until such time. I think hopefully in the next year we'll get some clarification on the law. There is legislation that has been proposed as well dealing with medical marijuana, and so we'll have more definitive answers. Our biggest concern is that we try and regulate in an area that is constantly changing and that you're sort of chasing your tail around trying to figure out what you can and cannot do in terms of the regulation.
Thank you. Could we, barring any discussion, could we have a motion? Please.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is this different than the existing moratorium?
It's over. Yeah, the existing moratorium is not existing any longer, so.
So we let it expire, so we couldn't renew it?
Correct.
This is the first public meeting since the expiration of the existing moratorium, and we didn't have a chance to bring it back ahead of time.
But it doesn't say anything different than our other one?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution that introduces the ordinance to extend the marijuana moratorium and set the public hearing for November 5th.
Support.
Okay, there's a motion and support. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Chris, could you please give us another roll call?
Councilmember Spelman.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Melama.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Mayor Barnett.
Yes, motion carried. No adoption of ordinances and resolutions, no reports of boards and commissions. We do have a few minutes of boards and commissions, and that would be the Wexford County Commissioners, the DDA, and Business Improvement District, as well as the Diggins Hill Community Park Committee. Anything in there of a noteworthy nature, Marcus, for the public or the council?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor. The items that were discussed, at least in the city's meeting, DDA, BID meeting, have been discussed publicly with this board already.
Okay, thank you. Next up are, as promised, public comments are back around and open for any public comments, except if it's about Valverde. Mr. Charmley knows what I'm talking about, and you all do, but that was for him. Any public comments? Feel free to come forward if you'd like to. Hearing and seeing no one come forward.
I have a question before you close public comment.
Yes.
Are you going to maybe ask the leadership group to come up and introduce themselves?
That would be
All
awesome.
of them? That'd be great.
What we'd usually do with students, and you guys, folks
I
are,
told them you were going to pick on them, so,
Okay.
especially if they didn't say anything, and
Okay.
they're upholding their half of the...
they did a nice job. We would love it. Historically, Mayor Blanchard was here 18 years, and when he'd see students in the crowd, he would pick on them to come up very nicely and say who they are, where they're from, and maybe why they're in their particular program. We do that to scouts and students, and I'm being told
Leadership class.
that the leadership class may be similar to that category from my right, your left. So if you don't mind coming up one by one, getting in the line and introducing yourself, this would be another great way for the public to see you as we are on camera tonight.
They could let us know who's sponsoring it, too.
And if you have a sponsor, anything you'd want us to know about your experience. I noticed they all sit on one
They get in
side.
line really well, look at that.
You want us shortest to tallest, tallest to shortest?
All right, he's very polite, waiting.
Is this the chair of the committee?
The mascot.
Okay, let us have it.
Okay. Hi, Council and Mayor. My name's Zach Nemeth. I'm with Piranha Hose Products. Happy to be here tonight and happy to be with leadership. I'm hoping to improve some networking skills and enhance leadership skills as well. So happy to be here and learn. Thanks.
Thanks, nice to meet you.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, City
Hi.
Council members. I'm Kayla Beaudry. I'm a new sales manager at McGuire's Resort and a recent graduate from Ferris State University. So I'm happy to be back in the community and, as Zach said, to be networking and being involved. Thank you for inviting us.
You're very welcome.
Good evening. My name is Lindsay Evans. I work for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I just started working with a company here in Cadillac for the last year. So this was my way to learn the ins and outs of Wexford County and the city. So thank you.
Great. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Mayor, City Council members. I'm Tracy from Piranha Hose Products. I'm here to learn about leadership and get more involved in the community.
All right. Thank you for coming tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm Jody Keeler. I'm actually, I work with Northwestern Bank, and I've been back to the community about a year and a half now. So this is a way for me to kind of get entrenched back in the community after being gone for about 8 years. So I'm very happy to be back home, and looking forward to this next year with this class.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome home. Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Lauren Heilman, and I'm actually here on behalf of Kettnon Center and the Great Start Collaborative. So I'm going to be filling in 2 areas that I enjoy very much, and I'm very happy to be getting involved in the community a lot more, especially with the Great Start that I do. So I'm looking forward to a new year with this class. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hi.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I'm Deb Maxey. I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity, and I'm very honored to be part of this class this year and get to know more people in the community. I've been here for 4 years now. I've met a lot of people, but I'm looking forward to being able to meet a lot more and spending time with these class members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Janine Skunda. I'm the SOAR Case Manager at Mercy Hospital Cadillac. I work with homeless and uninsured, underprivileged community members here in Cadillac, and I am just trying to raise awareness, advocate, and do some networking. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Darcy Takama. I work for Borg Warner right here in town, and I was actually to a Chamber of Commerce meeting earlier this year on behalf of Transition Cadillac, and I think for both Transition and for leadership, we really appreciate your support.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Julie Boss, and I'm a counselor at the Wexford Mazaki Career Tech Center, the ISD, and I am happy to be here and excited to learn more about what Cadillac has to offer. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Good evening. My name is Nikki Schultz. I'm with the Great Start Collaborative, and this is Clarabelle. It's her birthday week, and this is how she gets to spend her time with Mom.
Happy birthday.
Good evening again, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jason Black, and as I mentioned before, I work for Avon Protection. Been in the area all my life, whether working in the area or growing up in the area, and appreciate the opportunity to come up here and introduce ourselves one by one, but also stretch us, because it's just a precursor of what we're actually doing within leadership, is stretching us to be more than just, more than just a member of the local community, but also a contributor to the local community. So thank you.
All right, Jason. Thank you. Thank you all for bearing with us and cooperating and sharing yourself and your stories with us. That's very nice. It sounds like a great diverse group of folks from all walks of life, and good luck with the project that you're going to pick, which may or may not, again, end up in the city. Hint. Seriously, thanks. There's a great history there, and you're going to hear about it if you haven't already, and there are big shoes to fill, so thanks for stepping forward, all of you. Okay. Public comments are still on. It is requested that comment time be limited to 3 minutes. Seeing and hearing no one else move forward, I'm going to close public comments. No tabled items tonight. Go to the order, which I'm going to proceed on Council Member Spolman's side tonight, and for a while.
Thank you, Mayor Burnett. The Lake Mitchell Improvement Board met again today. We had a 2.5-hour meeting this afternoon, again, to talk about all of the issues facing our lake, Lake Mitchell, and the various treatment methods that have been tried, trying to find the right formula for next year and making sure that we have the resources to do that. In either January or February, we'll be having a public hearing for all of the folks around the lake that get assessed for the treatment, and we want to make sure that we have some really good choices, if you will, to present before them at the public hearing on what that assessment will look like and what those treatment options will look like. So we've got another meeting before that, at least one more, and our next meeting is Thursday, November 1st at 3 o'clock at the Cherry Grove Township Hall. The other thing that I want to say is, and you kind of nailed it on the head, you folks that are going through the leadership class, you have an opportunity ahead of you to serve the community in many ways. And don't ever rule out running for public office, because there's a lot of opportunities to serve, either in townships or cities or even county governments to start with. There's a lot of other positions besides just being council members also. So I hope you think about it. It's a lot of fun, usually.
Thank you.
You learn a lot. You learn that not everybody thinks the same way you think. It's quite an awakening.
Thank you. Councilmember Shippers.
All right, a couple of things here. We all participated and went to the Michigan Municipal League annual convention a couple of weeks ago, where and the focus was on placemaking, and a few of the sessions that I attended were dealing with civic engagement and how to get people involved in the community. And with the leadership class here, it's very apparent that this is a very healthy thing that's happening in Cadillac. So I thank you for your civic engagement and hope that it continues. That's something that, as I was listening to the speakers, it's something that happens a lot in Cadillac. We have I heard some really great ideas for some other things to do as well. Other things that I learned about were ways to foster the creatives in your community and make the arts, how the arts can be one of the economic engines in a community. And as we saw with the sculptures this summer and with other arts events that go on in the city and how it brings people in, I think that that's something that we do and that we can do better. For example, this weekend, Gopherwood Concerts has a program at Saturday night at 8 p.m. at the Elks that's open to the public. It's Detour Bluegrass, which I think they're like 13th on the bluegrass charts right now nationwide. And they'll be here for a very affordable price. I attended the Arts Council meeting this past month and listened to the other arts groups and the kinds of things that they were doing, and it's pretty exciting, and I think it's something that we can all participate in and develop. Again, thanks Marcus and thanks Council for this whole process. What else? Somebody else will probably say this, but Thursday, since we started at this side, this Thursday, on the 18th, there will be a ribbon cutting at the well field, at the new well field on Crosby Road. That'll be at 4 p.m. And the public is invited, and we'll all be there, rain or shine. Linda says there will be tents. We're hoping it's not too tense, but tents with a T, that's what. And then the 27th is the zombie walk coming up, so there's good things happening in town all the time.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Councilmember Stevens.
Just mentioning the Michigan Municipal League Conference, I want to thank Marcus and the department heads. As we were kind of talking earlier about, we had, I'm on a subcommittee with the Michigan Municipal League, and one of the things we're looking at is a training session that would go in about kind of tying in city councils, the legal aspect, the staff and the community all together. And actually Marcus had some time with the department heads. They helped contribute some thoughts that will hopefully be utilized in that session. So I wanted to thank Marcus and the staff for that.
You're welcome.
Also the leadership class, I want to thank you guys. Last year's group, they kept coming up after they were doing a project for the new pavilion at the park, thanking us for it. And I kept thinking we should be the ones thanking the leadership class, because the history is there's projects all over the city, not only in the city limits, but the community that people reference back to the leadership class did this, and it's a excellent program. I noticed in this group, it's amazing how many people have already been involved in the community in other aspects. So what you guys are doing is awesome. And as soon as you guys have the tickets for your fundraiser, let us know, as well as your awards. It's always fun. That's what makes those chamber awards dinners, is the recognizing the leadership class. But we are so lucky to have people involved in this community, and the relationship. The other thing is the sponsors. We always hear the same names that are sponsoring, because they're helping contribute back to the community too. And so if you can tell them thank you as well, it's really nice to see that, the team effort. So thanks. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Melama.
Just want to bring up a couple things. I want to tie this in. Last week I mentioned, or 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that we were going to have a Cadillac Area Manufacturers Association meeting at CTC, and we did. And we had over 40 members there, and it was excellent, and we got to talk about, with the instructors, about our training needs, and that was an excellent meeting. And I also want to bring up that they have an open house this Wednesday, and I want to remind people of that open house. I did not have that date last time. It'll be this Wednesday night.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Thank you. The other thing that we brought up, and I've brought it up several times, is our Manufacturers Association started a purchasing consortium. Small manufacturers and small businesses obviously cannot buy on large scales. Obviously, the example would be Walmart. They can probably buy at a tremendous price advantage. So we, as a Manufacturers Association, started a purchasing consortium. It's the only one in the state. And we have our first winner. And I'm not going to announce the name of the insurance agency, because that was announced to the members but hasn't officially been announced. But the average savings for our manufacturers is going to be, the average is 12. We have a high of 22% and a low of 3%. Now that's a percentage, but that means thousands and thousands of dollars that will be saved by several of our manufacturers in the community. And so I'm very, very pleased. And we're the first in the state to move in that direction. It has been done in the past. And it's the only reason it hasn't continued is because they've done it through volunteers. And being a volunteer most of my life, we come and go, and we sometimes check out, and we do other things, and the process stops. So we have our first employee through our Manufacturers Association, the first in the state, and so we're hoping that this will be a continuous thing. It will continue. So anyway, wanted to mention that.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Melma. Mr. Petcha, did you want to talk a little bit about the letter we received from Herring Township, just to summarize the news we received from their entity last week, I believe?
Sure. As Mayor Byrne and I mentioned last week, we did receive a letter. I believe I emailed a copy to everybody so you'd have one for your own files. A letter from Herring Township, formally in response to correspondence that we sent to the township earlier this spring and again in the summer, inquiring if they would be interested in having the city pursue looking at amending the 1980 sanitary sewer agreement to provide them with an additional year extension after the 2017 term date. We had, if you may or may not recall, several public discussions about, amending the agreement for a year. We even had a couple of discussions, I think, about looking at 2 years as a way of taking the burden of time out of the picture with respect to Herring Township and their analysis of whether to build their own treatment facility for sewage. The letter that we did receive last week, that I shared with council, does indicate that they're not interested in pursuing an extension to the 1980 agreement, and that they are planning to build their own treatment facility plant accordingly.
Okay. Anything else after our comments?
I was going to mention on the same topic, and I, certainly don't want it to be misconstrued or taken out of context, but although it seems that the city won't be treating any of their flow after 2017 or perhaps even before, depending on when the plant is built, maybe there's other possibilities out there, meaning that we have certified and trained professionals that operate our utilities facilities, and I would be more than willing to try to have conversations when appropriate to open the door to see if they'd be willing to look at having the city help them operate their facility, or at least provide guidance if necessary. So, as one door closes, I'm looking for perhaps another door to open. Not quite sure if that's even a conversation that the parties would be willing to have, but certainly if council wanted to know, that's where I'm at on the issue. So,
thank you very much. Anything else, Marcus?
Not on that topic.
Okay. Just might go to the order. Yep.
Go to the order still?
Yep.
Yeah, I did want to mention, I am going to be, in an effort to try to keep Cadillac on the map, literally, I'm going to be meeting with members of the MEDC this week in Gaylord. Jerry Adams and I, the development director, are going to be taking part of the second day of a two-day series that the MEDC is putting on with other people involved with economic development in the region. They're actually taking to the air to look at available commercial sites across northern Michigan, I believe on Thursday, and then Friday I'm going to be up in Gaylord, along with Jerry giving a presentation on available sites here in Cadillac and trying to promote what our community and area has to offer. So again, it's a good opportunity that the state is giving us, and so we're looking forward to being a part of it.
Okay. I'll come back to you in a second because I know we have a closed session to follow, hopefully a brief one. I'd like to thank the leadership class for coming. You're a team, and teamwork is very important. You have a daunting task in front of you, and good luck to it. I think with it, if you work as a team, you will be able to do what other leadership classes have. So good luck to you all, and thank you, each and every one of you, for coming tonight. Our team has been doing well. We pulled together for Marcus. I want to thank all of the council members for the work on his evaluation and working together as a team. It sure makes his job easier when we're working together, and we certainly have that ability. I'm very pleased to see that we're hitting on all cylinders, and that so is Mr. Pecha. So just to wrap it up, congratulations to Mr. Pecha for a solid review, and good luck in the coming years with your position here at the city.
Thank you.
All right. With that, Marcus, I think we did have on our agenda to move into closed session on a couple of matters, and maybe we could discuss what those are, and we could have an appropriate vote.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the request is to move into closed session to discuss pending litigation with respect to Mayor of Cadillac versus Blackburn, and for a written confidential legal opinion on the forensic audit.
Okay, can we entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Support. And any discussion? Hearing none, Chris, could we please have a roll call?
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Nelama?
Yes.
Shippers? Yes. Bowman?
Yes.
Mayor Burnett?
Yes, and off to closed session. Thanks again for coming. You can stay if you want. It may be a while. You may wish to leave now. Thanks again. Session. Okay, looks like we're back on camera, therefore we will ask I will ask one of you as council members to give us a motion to return to the open meeting.
I make a motion that we leave the closed session and return to our open session of the meeting.
Okay.
Support.
And there's support. Chris, could you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Malama?
Yes.
Shippers? Yes. Bowman?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Mayor Barnett?
Yes. Motion carried. I think that'll do it for tonight. Thank you, everyone. For council, good job tonight. And again, congratulations, Mr. Pecha.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.